I finally found Isabela Ferrer. Ooh, it was not an easy job. Now, I can't confirm or deny if she was in a basement or specifically Blake Lively's basement, but I did find her in New York. Let's get into it because we got some things to talk about. Hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of F Around and Find Out. Happy Tuesday. I hope your week is going great so far. Well, like I said, I found Isabela Ferrer, and you're not going to guess where. New York Fashion Week. Apparently, she's not hiding after all. She's just only hiding if you need something from her legally. But other than that, she spends her free time on Saturdays at New York Fashion Week. Just Jared reported yesterday that it ends with us Isabela Ferrer makes first public appearance since making accusations against Justin Baldoni. And you know what? They got to get their clicks in. So I'm not even mad about this little headline because at this point, if you know, you know. If you don't know, too late. Like, sucks to suck. But the accusations headline is a little bit not right. And we're going to get into it. So I do not have time to argue semantics because we have bigger fish to fry. We all know what happened on the docket last night, the 44 pages of pure text messages. If you were not on the live with me and Lauren, I don't know what to tell you. Just go check it. And I apologize. It's going to be very, very messy. Somehow, Lauren got my husband on live before I did. I don't know how she figured that out, but it was a fun time. So please make sure to go watch Lauren Court of Random Opinions live from yesterday if you haven't. I'm going to show a little snippet, but I don't want to jack her entire video in this video, so we're going to talk about it later. But let's go ahead and finish with Isabela because there's not much to say and there's not much to show other than these two images of her clearly not so blonde looking hair. And if you guys will remember, I will have to go look for it deep in the archives. But every video I made about Isabela so far, about the saga, I always said she needed to distance herself from Blake. First thing she needed to do was definitely get away from being a blonde. If you could get away from being a blonde and if you could get rid of the mole, do it because it associates you too much to Blake. Go away for a couple of years. I guess she didn't listen to that part and go get a job at some like local theater somewhere and just do your job, stay low. But she finally came up for air. I just cannot tell you if she came up from under Blake's basement or her own. But I wish the Wayfair parties had this information on Saturday because that is where she was at a fashion event for Alice and Olivia by Stacey Bendet, 2026 presentation at Surrogate's Court in New York City. I guess she's been to some kind of court. I crack myself up too, I know. But what we got on the docket last night, if you didn't get a chance to see it, you guys, I'm so distracted because I just saw the biggest mosquito I've ever seen in my entire life. And if I don't unalive it, it might unalive me. Give me a second. I'll be back. I'm back. When I tell you guys, that is the biggest mosquito I've ever had to deal with in my life. Excuse me? If I didn't take it out, it was going to take me out. It was only right. I'm sorry. Rest in peace and all, but it's either it or me. And I'm sorry, but I pick me every time. So Blake's team had requested for this document to be unsealed by the Wayfair parties, which they went ahead and unsealed it. And for the life of me, I cannot imagine why they thought this is something to make a ruckus about. Like, why was this something they thought we needed to see because it was going to help prove anything for her? If anything, this document made me laugh and like love the Wayfair parties even more because of how, and I don't want to use the word amateur, but how very much nonchalant it was. They were just like, we're going to create a website, we're going to wake up in the morning and we're going to get it done. And we literally get 44 pages, which is just the text chain from 9 a.m. to like 8 p.m. when they successfully launched the website. So let's get into it. Again, I'm sure I'm not the only person you get your information from. And maybe by the time you're seeing this, you've already gone through this entire thing, especially if you're on the live with me and Lauren. I know you've heard every single word that's in here. And you're also probably going to watch other videos from other creators. So I don't want to hijack the entire thing and go through every single thing. I'm just going to point to the important text messages and my personal favorites, which I have a couple though, of my personal favorites. And then, you know, if you want to watch another creator, it doesn't feel redundant because sometimes I worry about that. I'm like, oh, I feel like you guys get content fatigue because you're hearing me talk about it. You're hearing Donna, you're hearing Lauren, you're hearing Zach, you're hearing Shasti, you're hearing Andy, you're hearing Cassidy, I get Ashley, on and on and on. So I feel like, oh my God, they might be overwhelmed. It's a bit much. So I've decided moving forward when there's documents and stuff like that, I'm not going to belabor the point and read the entire thing again, just bits and pieces. That way you don't feel like, oh, I heard it all over again, I'm hearing it again. Just get to the point, right? I guess a lot of people didn't realize whenever the username was saying SRINC, that was Jed Wallace, Street Relations Inc. A lot of people were messaging me at least asking, hey, I'm reading the thing, do you know who SRINC is? And I was like, Street Relations Inc. That's Jed Wallace. They were like, oh. So anyway, we're going to get into this really quickly. So on page 444 is when they're discussing what the title is going to be for the documents. Because remember, there are two PDF files on there, the amended complaint and the timeline. They were having a lot of technical difficulties trying to launch this. Like, as much as they went to a company to do it, like they were like, they were in no way doing this for the purpose of smearing, right? Because even right here, you can hear Jamie Heath say, that looks great. And it's all cloaked in the litigation privilege. Everything they were putting out there was covered. And Jamie even brings up this part, which I like. That's amazing. Looks great. Very clean, not flashy. It will be downloadable, ? Which we got into Jamie trying to explain what he thinks a downloadable PDF is or should be like, which funny enough is my example I normally go to when I'm trying to get a downloadable PDF. Right there, it says we missed the Daily Mail reporter again, and people are trying to figure out what that is. I think they probably maybe had a meeting set up with somebody from the Daily Mail. I don't know if it's James Vatushka. That's the question somebody had asked me. I have no clue who it would have been. They just probably had like a meeting or something set up and they missed it because they were so busy trying to get this to work. So they started these text messages around 8 a.m. At this point, it is 12 p.m. and they think they're ready to go, right? They're ready to launch. They just were waiting on legal, which would have been Brian Friedman, which they also have a nickname for him in here, which I think is Terminator. Jamie Heath says, looks good to me unless anyone has any objections. They ask what the URL is, and Jamie Heath says, if legal says we're good to go, you have my approval. Jamie Heath says, great, we are not monetizing off of it, which they're not. A lot of people are confused. That website is not selling anything. They don't monetize per click. I mean, if they did, they would be rich right now, but they're not. It's just literally a way for them to get the information they wanted to get to people out. They could have put more stuff on it, which in the beginning we were all anticipating they would, but nothing else came, right? Jamie says, great, we're not monetizing off of it. It's simply a landing page to have access to legal documents that are already public. So with that, let's go live. Jed says, Jed Wallace, who is SRINC, says, need approval from the Terminator. I believe the Terminator is Brian Friedman. Brian Friedman, the Terminator, finally arrives at 2:02 p.m. I think after an hour after they were talking about getting his approval. He jumps on a text and he says, let's launch this thing. It's not going to be perfect. We can make changes. Let's get it rolling. He was ready to go. Jamie Heath says, hey all, Jason, if we can redact Tara's name with no issue, then let's please do so. Otherwise, if it can't be and it's a problem, then we can leave it as is. I spoke to her and she understands it's fine, but if it's possible, let's do it if we can. Freeman comes in and is like, enough of the redaction and stuff, just launch it. It's not going to be perfect. We need to get the ball rolling. People need this information at their fingertips, which we did. So it's kind of interesting to know that while we were scrambling, like, oh my God, we need information, we're starved, they were thinking about us, right? We need to launch it. It's never going to be perfect. The next question is whether we can control the crash. If we can take a page out of TikTok. Then Brian Freeman says, it becomes genius. It was genius. Jamie Heath, literally, you can see, I wasn't there, right? I wasn't there, but I can see Jamie Heath almost freaking out in this text messages where he goes, what do you mean the crash? And I think Brian Freeman was probably talking about like the website crashing if too many people went on there. But I think Jamie Heath, obviously with everything going on, assumed the crash, like the backlash that would come from it, you know. But I'm surmising Brian Freeman meant the crash, like the website literally crashing. Brian Freeman says, one small step for mankind, one giant leap for being kind. That was a bar. I love that. I believe whoever's working on the website says, I agree, let him have it. Like, just drop the website. Let's get at it, right? Because we were itching. I don't know if you guys were into this case as much then that you are now, but at least for me, I was scratching. I was like, oh my God, I want something. It was like, it was dry in these streets, right? Jamie says, okay, cool. All right, well, it's good to go on my end. If we can get Tara's name redacted, that would be great. Otherwise, let's roll. Can you please send the link here once it's live so we can share with media? Want to make sure to only send once live, so let us know. So this took a while, like at least 10 pages after now. Maybe 10 is exaggerating, but still, it feels like a lot of pages after now. It's literally them going back and forth. Hey, it's working. It's not working. I see it. I don't see it. Some things are blurry, some things are fine, some things are missing completely. My favorite part of everything, right, is the person creating the website confirming, hey, are we going to call it the lawsuitinfo.com? And Brian Friedman jumping in and saying, actually, why do we call it it ends with truth.com? And I wish they had done that, right? And then the guy creating the website says, we were told not to use it ends with truth because it's too close to the movie. And Brian Freeman says, good point. But then Jason is like, doesn't Wayfair own the copyright though, which they do. And they could have just done that. But again, it would have probably been too messy. Blake's team would have found a way to make a case and the judge would have been like, yeah, it's true. Take that shit down. So in the end, I'm glad they went with lawsuit info. Jed Wallace says it's already the lawsuit info has been since the beginning. That's all set. Let's just keep it that way. And Jamie Heath being like the cool head and trying to like keep everything not from falling apart goes, let's go with the first please, period. Everybody's like holding everybody together with tape. Please. Lawsuitinfo.com is less theatrical, but I love you, Brian. And the guy creating the website says we can hold place for that for something else. We do own that URL. So it's interesting and it's good to know that they now own endswithtruth.com. So let's see what's on endswithtruth.com if there is anything there. There is nothing there right now, but I'm just glad to know they have bought up that domain and eventually, maybe not in the future, something might pop up on it ends with truth. I love this case so much and it's so chaotic. Anyway, so this was one of my favorite like dad moments, almost like grown moments where they don't understand. Jamie Heath was trying to explain what he, the vision he had for it, like as a downloadable file. And he says, I'm not quite getting something. Like if I go to my bank account, like this is when they were trying to get it to download and work, right? He says, if I go to my bank account and want to look at a statement, I click on a statement and a PDF opens up. And it's just one file with all the images there. Why can't this be something similar when you click on the timeline or the complaint and it just opens up as a single PDF that can be viewed? It would essentially be one long image. I realize I'm not an expert in that, but I'm trying to make sense of it. That's exactly what it is, but I guess he needed to. And Jed says, that's what we want! Exclamation point, exclamation point. I love, like, this is supposed to prove a smear campaign. Girl, they were literally figuring this out in real time from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They were doing this on their phone, going back and forth. This is not a coordinated effort to smear you. It's a mess. Anyway, we're still on page 28, but this is them still trying to figure out the error or the glitch or whatever was going on because it's still not working. Jamie is using every device in his house, his wife's phone, the iPad, the computer. Jamie is at this point getting ready to fire AT&T and Spectrum because I guess those are his providers, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. Anyway, around page 31, I think it begins working. Everybody is on the same page. It's working great. Hoorah. Let's pop champagne. Pop. It's working. Let's go live, shall we? And the first image they sent is 6,337 people on the website, at least watching, right? And you're going to see the excitement. It's kind of like a kid on Christmas morning. The messages keep coming in. So there is this text message where if you guys were watching Candace Owens in the beginning of all of this, she had like this show on this specific day where she kind of was catching people up on what happened. So she did sort of make her own timeline, if you will. I guess she had no idea the Wayfair parties were making a timeline, right? So she comes out and she says, I created the timeline. So when the Wayfair parties dropped a timeline, I think Candace talked on her show about how maybe they even got the idea from her or something of the sort, but she created a timeline. The guy making the website sends them a message and say, did you guys see earlier that Candace Owens was saying that she's the one that initially started the timeline? Haha. Pretty sure this timeline outdoes hers. And they Jason Sunshine asked today, and he says, yes, this morning, LOL. And they say, ha, yes. It's like, you just wait, haha, like just wait to see ours, right? All right, so the website goes, they post this video from CJ and
Blake Lively. I am not a fan. I am so team Justin Baldoni. I want to start selling t-shirts and wearing them with his face on it, but I'm afraid of his lawyer, Brian Friedman. He would come for me, and I think he would win because obviously he's got a little bit of fire right now. So that's all I'm going to say about that topic.
Candace can be funny when she wants to be. She is a hoot, literally like a hilarious person. All right, let's get back into it. All right. So this was interesting. The guy making the website posts that video of CJ that we just played of Candace saying she was going to make the t-shirts, right? And sells them and sell them and wear them. And the guy says, "Hey, should we launch the t-shirts and donate to domestic violence?" And Jamie Heath says, "I think you're kidding, but no thanks. Like, we do not want anything to do with this right now." Like, can you imagine if they actually did create the t-shirt, selling it? Even if they were going to donate the money to charity, the headlines would have, it would not have looked good. It would not have worked out. So I'm glad they decided against it, even though I felt like it was a joke. Jed Wallace comes back in. It's included on today's report too. I believe they're talking about Candace's stuff. And for the people playing at home, the Terminator getting massive props for the various communications on the overall amended and post timeline strategy. Real magic. That is our confirmation that Brian Freeman is in fact the Terminator. Should we from now on refer to him as the Terminator and not Brian Freeman? Okay, this is your go ahead. He is only the Terminator from now on. Jamie Heath comes back and say, "Hey guys, I'm looking at the PDF on the website version of the timeline, and I noticed that so many of the texts are blurry. Oh my God, I had such an issue with that. Even till today, there are multiple text messages that I'm trying to read, and I almost have to zoom in all the way, squint. Sometimes I have to make the picture, black and white, just so that the text can stand out better. It's a mess." So Jamie Heath had issues about that as well. He said, "I can still make them out, but they're much more blurry than the original documents. Is that due to the file being smaller or maybe not as high as resolution?" And I really had issue with that. And at first I was like, oh my God, I wish this was more perfect. But I'm glad it wasn't overly produced. And I said this as much when I was on live with Lauren. Glad you didn't see like an overly produced thing where, there's like a blurb and there's like AI or like somebody narrating for you, like a little bubble. While that would have been great and perfect, again, for my health and my eyesight and for everybody's health and their eyesight, I'm glad it kind of was just like, put it together. Let's go. We got to go. We got to get it out here, right? So I appreciated that. 7:33 p.m. Jamie Heath says, "Let's leave it as it is, folks. We can revisit and consider if needed later, but it's doing what we wanted to do exactly as we needed to do it. I am happy with the fact that it looks more like a place to host documents rather than looking like a performative website with a lot of architectural design. Let's let it breathe for a bit." And that's, I like that. I didn't appreciate it at a time, but in hindsight, I appreciate the fact that it wasn't some perfectly designed blurb thing. It was just there, right? It was literally screenshots you would take on your phone. So apparently there's this Reddit page. So they talk about it on here. The way Baldoni Files people are trying to fight back is they registered social media for the lawsuit info. Reddit, Baldoni Files comments, whatever this is. Jamie Heath says, "I love it. Let those who need to express their disdain for us and love for those on the other team do it and wear it proudly, I assume. They're loud, just as we love when people sing for us. Some will sing for them. Bring it on. We are not dissuaded or even affected. Have at it." At this point, it is 8 p.m. Jamie Heath is trying to go to bed. Okay. He's like, "We've been doing this all day." The guy making the website says, "They're internet sleuths and they're internet sleuths." I believe he is trying to compare Blake's internet sleuths versus the rest of us, right? Jamie Heath says, "Heard!" Exclamation point. Still tracking the usage. Jason Sunshine says, Are we at millions of views? It seems like it's getting so much attention. Like at this point, they're shocked at how many people are looking at the website or on the website. And then this is where they start talking. At this point, it is 11 p.m. People are on lives reviewing the docs that they're talking about the streaming. Apparently, there's a guy who covered the Johnny Depp case who was covering it. Jed Wallace says there have been over 100 IRL read streams. It's a massive moneymaker for creators, and the sentiments profoundly JB favored. That's the real indication. Either way, it makes money, but the support tells the tale. Well done, family. I wonder what guy making the website, mic drop, right? I wonder what BL and RR are doing right now. Jason Sunshine, freaking out. LOL. I'm sure, but I want to know, are they crying, screaming, yelling, or all the above? I wonder how their vacation is going. And they don't post anybody else's response. But I'm going to assume Jamie Heath probably stayed away from that. I'm assuming. I don't know. But we get cut off right there. So I don't know what else comes. But you guys, this was an interesting read. It was good for me to see it. It was fun. To be honest, like everything that's been heavy in this case, and every time something drops on a docket, it seems like, oh my God, it's impossible. To me, this was fun. I don't know about you guys, but it was kind of funny seeing them trying to actually figure it out in real time explain what a PDF, a downloadable PDF is to each other and just fix it as they go. I loved it. I love seeing it. It was good for the heart. I don't know why, again, Blake thought this was incriminating in any way, shape, or form, but shout out to her for being delulu enough to feel that way. Anyway, like I said, Lauren got me on her live, and my husband somehow made an appearance. I'm going to play you guys a quick clip.
I have a question
He
for
said
him.
that too soft. No, my husband said that too soft feminine man is kissing your wife.
Jesus Christ. No, I have a question for him, and I need to know the answer.
Ask quickly.
Have you ever wanted to tattoo your taint with the name of another man?
There we go. That's so gay. He said that's so gay.
Jesus Christ.
No, he literally grabbed the steering wheel, looked at me, and said, "That's so gay." Do you see our dilemma? Would you text another man and be like, "Hey, and if you do this for me, I'm gonna tattoo your name in my perineum"? Like when you grab your ball sack underneath it, you're gonna put another man's name underneath your ball sack. Tell me, has that ever crossed your mind?
No, he wants to put him right on top of the ball sack.
He said Ryan is sick. We got him there, guys. Eventually, he got the picture. Okay, let's move on. Interview over.
You guys, I could keep going because it was literally the funniest 25-30 minutes of my life. But like I said, I do not want to jack Lauren's entire stream. So please go watch Lauren's stream. She is at I think 15K views right now. Next time I check, I need to see her in the 20s. I need to see this video doing numbers. And a lot of people are requesting now that they want to hear more from my husband. He will probably never show his face again after yesterday. But I appreciate you guys for being here so much. You have no idea. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you in the next one. Have yourselves a great day. Go check out the video with Lauren, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.